Welcome back, chums. This is LastKnownMeal, and it's been a bit since I uploaded. It was mostly due to work. Thanks for all of the questions, but don't worry, I'm more than fine and ready to make some videos now. So yesterday we had Q3 investors report from CDPR where they talked more about the sales of Phantom Liberty and how their company is doing, including plans for the future of The Witcher, Cyberpunk and much more, so let's begin. First off, Phantom Liberty since release has sold more than 4.3 million copies with 20% attachment ratio. An attachment ratio is the number of add-on products or units sold in relation to a primary product or unit. An example would be, let's say, how much merch has been sold on a concert compared to a number of tickets sold. And this is really good because it also represents CDPR coming back and regaining trust of people since the release and problems they were dealing back then. And I think that this is a very nice closure to 2077 and Red Engine, so they can move on to different projects with a positive mindset because, well, they fixed and tidied up most of the problems from the main game. This also goes along with reviews on Steam in general because it had 92% positive reviews in the past 30 days. Going to a more business side, this is the best third quarter in company's history, which tells you a lot, especially since they had other releases in the past, but releasing Phantom Liberty really pushed that further, with revenue going up 80% and earnings went up 91% pre-taxes, thanks again to the expansion and sales of the main game, which is not a surprise considering they had over 250,000 active players on Steam alone when it was released. Speaking of projects, if we take a look at the most recent development graph, we can see that Cyberpunk and PL teams are in transfer, being that they are done with that. You will of course have some support devs be there, just for a bit, but after a few months, well, they will just move on to different projects. But what makes me happy is how big Witcher graph is becoming, and as they said, around 300 developers or half of the company is now working on it, while other half is going to be assigned to that and, well, new Cyberpunk game, which is going to be done from their new Boston studio. So not Molasses Flood, a studio which is developing their own Witcher title, because Molasses Flood is also from Boston, but they will have their own office really close to Molasses Flood offices. This is also confirmed by Sasko, who said that it's almost time for him to move to Boston, so things are moving fast, and I'm really glad to see it. In the next investors call, it should give us a more clearer picture on how teams are going to be placed and how everything is going to be done. Also, speaking of Molasses Flood, we can see that their team shrunk a little bit after the project was revised, but it's still very much happening and is in development. But when it comes to details of their project right now, it's all unknown, and it's going to be a while until we see a reveal for the next Witcher game, like details and all. For the time being, we are entering that time of silence from them, at least when it comes to, well, new development. But it's not all doom and gloom, because we have a few exciting things happening that I haven't covered before, like for example, the Ultimate Edition coming out on December 5th, which is going to give you Cyberpunk and Phantom Liberty in one package, updated obviously to the latest patch. There are some things you have to know about the package. So it seems that the PlayStation 5 version will have a disc, but expansion is going to come with a download code. I did read up a bit on what that might be. It's either due to Sony, might be due to CD Projekt Red, but just keep in mind, while I think Xbox version has a disc version for the expansion and not that download code, there is also a PC version which I will be getting in a few days, so very much excited about that. Also yesterday, Gamespot released a new insider documentary about CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk development, including the problems and how they went around to fix it. I like it. It's raw, heavy, and just, cold hard facts, which is nice to see. I will leave you a link to it down below, definitely a must watch. Speaking of new updates and patches for Cyberpunk 2077, in the background of SteamDB we can see that they are working on something, and it's probably going to be 1 to 2 more patches and that's it, especially being that they are getting re-signed soon. So we have a partner Dev 0, which could be connected to Chromebook deal they're having, but also we have test and internal QA, which is usually indicative of a patch, although this test is not something which appears all the time, so it's very interesting, but I wouldn't really think much about it yet, or, nothing at all. Now let's go switch to The Witcher, because, well, I'm excited to finally go back into it. So first things first, when it comes to next gen edition, right now it seems when it comes to patches, they're pretty much done with that, at least for the time being, because in the background of SteamDB there is nothing happening. But there is something better. You see, CDPR said that The Witcher 3 is getting a mod editor in 2024 for free. Yes, after all of these years of pleading, begging, asking, the entire community coming out and praying that one day we finally have the same editor like we did for The Witcher 2, and after all of these years, they're finally doing it. Is it too late now? Well, I wouldn't think so. I think as soon as this comes out, people will go crazy over it, and we can expect some really insane mods. And not just that, but bigger mods, story mods, and all of it. I mean, I will try to make a side quest if editor allows it, because initially CDPR said like, on release of The Witcher 3 that the mod editor is coming out, and something did come out like a mod kit, but it really wasn't much and you couldn't really make a bigger mod for The Witcher 3 like since release. So having this finally come out is great news. I will of course cover it when all of that comes out, but if you want the current Witcher mods, then you can go and see my previous modding videos with everything you need to know on how to download and actually, install those mods. Good times are coming for the Witcher fans. Seriously, we have the new Witcher game, Witcher 1 remake, Molasses Flood Witcher game, at least that's what I think it's going to be compared to the latest reports, and mod editor. This should give us enough time until, well, next Cyberpunk game comes out, but I'm really excited to see how CDPR will now do in Unreal Engine 5. And this is everything we have for today. Expect more videos, and not just CDPR videos, but I will go into different RPG games and games I play. I know variety might not be for everyone, but don't worry, CDPR is always #1 for content on this channel, Cyberpunk and The Witcher, and then the rest. But I'm excited to work on those videos because covering just one game can be mentally taxing and it can get a bit dull. And once that happens, quality goes down, and I don't want that to happen. Thank you for all of the amazing support. If you enjoyed this video, click that like and subscribe button for more, and tell me down below what do you think about all of this. As always, sources in the description, and that's it. Huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters, and this is LKM signing out. Stay classy everyone, and bye bye.